Hello learners, I'm Dr. Arunkumar, School of Management, SASTRA Deemed University. Welcome to the session on market segmentation variables on business market. Let us talk. In the last session, we were discussing about segmentation using consumer market, and in this session, we will be discussing about the business market, how marketers are trying to segment their businesses. So let's talk about the variables involved in segmenting the business market. First one is demographic segmentation, operating variables, and purchasing approaches. So what are the variables under demographic segmentation? First one is the industry. So as a market organization, we should know which industry should we serve. So like that, whether it is a soft drink industry or whether it is a, software industry, or whether it is a transport industry or an automobile industry, we need to understand that. Next one is, as a marketer, we should understand the company size. What size company should we serve? So the size of the company. It depends upon the turnover, it depends upon the market size, all that. Next one is we need to talk about the location. So what geographical areas should we serve? Whether we should serve to the Asia Pacific, North, South, like that. So we need to, as a business marketer, we need to, while segmenting, we need to understand which location we need to serve. Next one is the operating variables in terms of what kind of technology. What technology should we focus on? For example, whether it is, if you are a hardware manufacturer, we need to understand whether are you into the Android platform or you are using the Windows platform. So like that, what kind of technology are you using? That we need to understand under the, while you segment the business market. Next one, user and non-users. So should we serve heavy users or medium users, light users or non-users? We need to understand which type of users we are serving as a business market. Next one is the customer capabilities. Should we serve customer needing many services or very few services? I'm clear about it. For example, I'm a logistics service provider. Whether a company like DuPont, they need only inventory service, or they need both the transportation service, or they need other additional export services. Like that, I need to understand the what kind of customer capability and what kind of services they require, so that accordingly we can segment our market. I mean the business market. Next one is the purchasing approaches. Purchasing for function organization. Should we serve companies with highly centralized purchase or decentralized purchase organization? Isn't it? Normally, centralized purchase is nothing but the you're sitting at the corporate and all the decisions are made at the headquarters, and the corporate headquarters will whatever the purchase, they will make it. Sometimes what happens if they will go for decentralized purchase system, where the branches will make the procurement of raw material. So we need to understand the purchase function of the organization before we do as a business segmentation. Next one is, let's talk about the power structure. Should we serve companies that are engineeringly dominated, like GE, or we can talk about BHEL, or like Sundaram Finance or Bajaj Finance, like that. So what kind of power structure they do have, we need to analyze that. So this is the input. We need to be very careful before you do segmentation. These are the variables in the business segmentation process. as a marketer, we need to understand. I mean, an organization, and they need to be very cautious about these variables. The next one is about the segmenting the international market. Again, geographic segmentation. I said the continent-wise and the region-wise, like Asia Pacific region. I was mentioning this example earlier. Next one is the economic factors like population income or level of income development, what kind of economic factors, unemployment rate, all that you need to consider while you go for an international segmentation process. Next one is the political and legal factors. So we have you need to, before you segment the market, you need to talk about you need to consider about the stability of the government and the monetary regulations and the amount of bureaucracy involved with the political, factors. And next one is the cultural factors. You need to understand about what kind of language, like, when you go to China, they speak Cantonese and Mandarin. So when you serve that market, you cannot put your packaging labeling through English. You need to use those language of Cantonese or Mandarin, Chinese language, and what kind of religion you are serving, and what kind of values they possess, what kind of attitude they possess, customs, and their behavioral patterns because each international market is totally different, because the taste and preference of the international buyers is different because of the fact that in India, for example, let's talk about the McDonald's. McDonald's, when I came to India, most of the Indians are vegetarians, so they cannot go for burger made of beef or chicken or other meat products. So they have to go for vegetarian burgers, and most of the burgers is made of aloo. I mean the potato. So you need to really understand the requirement, cultural factors, and the requirement when you do go for segmenting the international market. Next one is about when you do an effective segmentation, what are the requirements for an effective segmentation? A segment should be measurable, that is, the size, purchasing power, profiles of the segment can be measured, and it's also substantial. It means that when you serve that particular segment, it should be large enough to serve that particular segment, and so that you may realize profitability in serving that particular segment. So, and next one is about accessibility. Whether that particular segment can be effectively served or reached, we need to understand the accessibility part. Do we have any kind of constraint in accessing that particular selected segment? We need to understand that. And also, when you talk about differentiable, whether that particular segment is differentiated from the other segments, so that you can have your own differentiation variable employed on that particular segment. So segment must respond differently to different marketing mix element. So each segment, like for example, there are certain segment which is very price conscious segment. So you need to be very careful whenever you do formulate your pricing strategy. And the next one is actionable. So what is actionable? Must be able to attract and serve the segment by effective programs. So can we able to formulate the promotional and advertisement and marketing programs to that particular segment or not, as required by our organization, as required by our marketing objectives? That we need to really carefully analyze when you do an effective segmentation. And moving on to the next one is about target market. So let's talk about target market. What is a target market? Once you choose a segment of consumers, which have a homogeneous needs and wants, then you need to target that particular specific segment. So consists of set of buyers who share the needs or that characteristics the company decides to serve. For example, let's talk about McDonald's. McDonald's try to target, basically students, employees and professionals, between the age group of 8 to 45 years, and to low and middle income groups, and of course those people who are having an easygoing and an outgoing with a fun loving, and sometimes we call it as a careless personality. It does not mean careless in the sense that they are outgoing and they are very social in nature. They want to be mobile, highly mobile, and they don't want. They want to take not to take mostly foods in the home. Rather, they want to take food outside. It means that they want some kind of junk foods which they love to eat it. Okay, so that's about the target market. And so in target marketing, we need to understand certain things. One is whenever you evaluate a market segment, there are certain criteria you need to keep in mind as a marketer. So when you talk about when evaluating that particular segment, make sure the segment is having a good size. It has the potential to give us the revenue for the organization. Whether that segment is having growth, isn't it? The growth potential. Whenever you offer a product or service, there should be more consumption of your product or service. Otherwise, no point of getting into that particular segment. So basically, the market should be relatively large enough, and at the same time, there should be a growth. The number of customers day by day, they should increase and consume your product. That is one of the major criteria when you go for evaluating the market segment. Next one is about segmenting the structural attractiveness. The first one is the level of competition. See, how much of level of competition? What is the intensity of competition? You need to, as a marketeer, you need to scrutinize that. And next one, you need to check whether is there any substitute product available in that particular market segment or not. So if any substitute market products are served in the market, then it won't give you a competitive advantage. Next one, you need to also scrutinize the power of buyers, and also whether do the segment have the powerful suppliers or not. You need to analyze before you enter into the segment, and you need to check the attractiveness using all these variables. Next one is, let us talk about the company objectives and resources, and make sure the segment which you choose is very it is matching towards your company's objective and resources. If it is really matching your company objective and resources, certainly you need to serve that particular market. So let's take an example of Kmart has been targeting the growing specific Hispanic market. So that's an takeaway for you on the process of targeting the chosen segment market. Next one, target marketing strategy involves various strategies. One is undifferentiated marketing. It is on the spectrum of two sides, that is targeting broadly and targeting narrowly. And on the left side you have targeting broadly, and the right side you have targeting narrowly. And if you look at that in that spectrum, you have different strategies, target marketing strategies you can employ. One is undifferentiated marketing, differentiated marketing, concentrated, niche marketing, and micro marketing, in which there are two concepts involved. One is local marketing, the other one is the individual marketing. Okay. Let me give you more clarity by taking more examples. Like if you look at this depiction, I think the company marketing mix is serving to the entire market. That's why we call it as undifferentiated marketing. If you look at the next one, it's a differentiated marketing, and you have different marketing mix employed for different segment. And when you look at the third, the C component there, it is called concentrated marketing. It means that you can see that the company marketing mix is specifically meant for only a particular segment of market, selected segment. Okay, so let's go in detail with more examples on mass marketing, segmented marketing. So let's talk about mass marketing, which is called undifferentiated marketing, and this is done by you can see this Coca-Cola and Pepsi is going for mass marketing. I mean the undifferentiated marketing. Undifferentiated marketing involves ignoring segment differences here and offering just one product or service to the entire market. What is the advantage, real advantage of this segment is that it is able to keep your costs down. Do you understand this? And also you can realize the economies of scale here by serving the mass market. And Coca-Cola is worldwide, is only one regular standardized flavor offered across the countries. So this is a great example I would like to quote here in the undifferentiated marketing. And as I told you that same product to all consumers, so there is no segmentation is done here. And next concept here is that segmented marketing, differentiated marketing, different products to one or more segment, right? And I can quote an example of this Colgate toothpaste. For example, Colgate sensitive toothpaste is there, Colgate kids toothpaste is there, Colgate whitening teeth is there, and Colgate Ayurvedic paste is there, and Colgate Total is there. There are different purposes are there to serve. So each segment which needs a different purpose. So we need to, as a Colgate company, has to serve that needs and the benefits what is required by the particular segment. So that's what we call it as differentiated marketing. So Colgate targets different segment with different types of toothpaste. I think hope you guys have experienced with this usage of Colgate toothpaste in your real-time experience. Next, let's moving on further to the next concept is called niche marketing. Let's talk about what is niche marketing. Niche marketing is nothing but different product to subgroups within that particular segment. So you are trying to concentrate your marketing strategy on one particular small market within that segment. For example, I can quote a lot of examples on this. I think I can quote this one. Eyeball phone is only meant for this particular phone is only meant for because you can see the numbers, which is very large enough. So it is very much used for senior citizens. So niche marketing can be identified by dividing a segment into sub-segment, or by defining a group seeking a distinctive mix of benefit. That's what I am trying to say here. Eyeball will be serving to the senior citizens who need great visibility on the numbers, which is on the on the mobile phone. Niches are very fairly small and attract one or few competitors because it's already a niche. A niche marketer understand their niches needs so well that their customers willing to pay price premium because it is very specially made for them. Like For example, I can quote one more examples like Rolls-Royce car, who has that wealth. For them only, Rolls-Royce car has been served. Are you clear about it? Hope with these two examples, I think you can able to appreciate the concept of niche marketing. So both small and large companies can practice niche marketing. And moving further, we can also talk about micro marketing. So what is all micro marketing is all about? Products to suit the taste of individuals and locations, and particular, for example, local marketing. For example, tailoring brands and promotion to the local customer group in that particular topography. Then that practice we call it as local marketing. And we'll take more examples on that. And individual marketing, tailoring products and programs to the needs of the individual customers. Like Airtel have a customized package. Now each individual can choose their own package. Like AirAsia you can choose your own way of selecting the seats and menu, all that. That we call it as individual marketing. There are a lot of examples here in individual marketing. Before that, we will also talk about the characteristics of an attractive niche. The customers in the niche have a distinct set of needs. Otherwise, we cannot able to make out niche marketing, and they are ready to pay premium to the firm because the firm is trying to satisfy their needs and wants. And nicher has required skills to serve the niche in a superior fashion. The nicher gains certain economies through specialization. I already mentioned that a niche has sufficient size, profit, and growth potential. And let's talk about local marketing. Local marketing leads to marketing programs tailored to the needs and wants of the local customer groups. Those in favor of localized company marketing see national advertising as wasteful, since it fails to address the local target groups. So again, those against local marketing argued that it drives up manufacturing and marketing costs by reducing the economic scale. Of course, because you need to address to the local needs, and you need to manufacture your product and services according to the local requirements. So naturally, your cost will also go up. So that's the one of the disadvantages associated with local marketing. So marketing costs by reducing economies of scale, that's a disadvantage here. Next one is individual marketing. I think BharatMatrimony.com, each state have their own, and each caste they have their own, so accordingly each individual caste people will be given the option of selecting their own bride or bridegroom. So the ultimate level of segmentation is going to customized one-to-one marketing. Technological developments permit companies to return to customized marketing. This is a great exercise. And next concept, we talk about the mass customization, where we can talk about the PEP scooter. They do mass customization, but only changing the external color. So that is called they have almost 99 colors. Only the cover of the scooter has been changed, and only the external appearance, I mean the color, has been changed to 99 colors. That process we call this mass customization, the ability to produce on a mass basis individually designed products to meet each customer requirement. I think if all the television channel, Tata Sky, Sun TV, all that companies are trying to serve the customers in a mass customized fashion. Okay. And moving further, let's talk about the positioning. Positioning, the place of the product occupies in consumers' mind related to competing product, which is called positioning. So as a company, they try to occupy a position in the minds of the customer. As I talk about Sensodyne toothpaste, when I talk about Sensodyne sensitive teeth, immediately my mind catch up that particular toothpaste called Sensodyne, or clear about it. Next one, when I talk about dandruff, immediately my mind think about Head and Shoulders. So typically defined by consumers on the basis of important attributes, involves implanting the brand's unique benefits. Dandruff, dandruff killer in Head and Shoulder. That is the unique benefits which is offered to the customer and differentiate with that other shampoo sellers, and that gives you a great perception in the minds of the customer, a differentiated perception in the minds of the customer, and it tries to occupy a unique position in the minds of the customer. So through this, the company does a lot of exercise and use positioning perceptual map, that we call it as positioning map, in terms of they compare two variables and try to plot it out, which position the company occupies, and try to serve that particular customers in that particular expected perceived way by the customers. So positioning maps that plot perception of brands are commonly used, and I can positioning is the act of designing the company's offering an image to occupy a distinctive place in the target's market's mind. So that's the definition about positioning. I think it gives you much clarity. Very simple, occupying a position in the minds of the customer. I remember about sensitive teeth, Sensodyne toothpaste. Okay, next one is about a marketer must plan positions to give their products the greater advantage in selected targeted markets, and design marketing mix to create this planned position. That's the job of a marketer whenever you go for a positioning exercise. So, and as I was mentioning about the positioning map, the plot perception of brands that are commonly used. I can see this. This is the high price, I think you got high price and low quality, high quality, low price, and high price stuff here. And you can see there are two variables here. One is low quality, high price, and low price. You can see all this Mercedes-Benz, Audi, BMW, all these on this quadrant, and you have Infinite in this quadrant, and you got Kia, Motor, Renault in this quadrant, and you can see that Ford and Toyota in this quadrant. Through this exercise, you can map perceptually, capture the perception of the customer based on comparing with the competitor brand by using these two variables called price and quality, high price versus low quality, and low quality versus high quality. And the next one is about positioning, and these are the learning outcome we would like to learn out of this positioning map. So first one is the identifying the possible competitive advantage. Let's look at how a company will extract competitive advantage, how the company gain competitive advantage by differentiation. So how differentiation is possible for a company by using these elements, like they can differentiate using the product, or they can differentiate using the services, or they can differentiate using the distribution channel, and or they can differentiate using these people, or they can differentiate using the image. So let's talk about for example, I can quote an example of products, let's talk about a product. For example, BMW. It's a luxurious car, it's a mission, and let's talk about Mercedes-Benz. So using the product and the luxury of the product, they are trying to differentiate with that of the competitor. When you talk about the services, I think AirAsia is a service providing company. This company is trying to serve the customer who are focusing on low cost career, isn't it? And next one, let's talk about how do you differentiate and attain competitive advantage. When you talk about the channels, I mean the distribution network, I think you can talk about online channel like Amazon and Flipkart is choosing a specific channel called online channel, and they collaborate with many logistics service providers like eCart, and they try to differentiate themselves with that of the competitors who are physically trying to reach out the customers. So that is a great example, Amazon and Flipkart in building a competitive advantage and try to fix that distribution network for differentiating the services with that of the competitor. Next one is people. Like when you talk about the Singapore Airlines, the level of air hostess who gives services to the customer, and consistently Singapore Airlines is trying to bag a customer quality service award. So the people there which gives, and the people working in IBM, people working in NASA, these people are the real differentiated with their intellectual capability and build on try to deliver possible competitive advantage to the organization. Next one is let's move on to the next one, choosing the right competitive advantage. So identifying the possible competitive advantage, you have as I told you, product differentiation. You got features, performance, style, design, and attributes. I can talk about features like Apple iPhone, which many features are there in Apple iPhone. That's why none of the competitors, mobile manufacturer, can get near to Apple phone because of the great iOS operating system. And next one is, let's talk about the performance, isn't it? And why is still, BMW is considered to be a great car because of its performance. So none of the car cannot compete with the performance of BMW. And similarly, the companies like Rolls-Royce and Mercedes-Benz. And next one is about the style. So when you talk about the style, a car has been designed with an aerodynamic, style and design. So the style and design will gives you a greater competitive advantage. It gives you greater mileage. And all the motorcycles like heavy, like Harley Davidson, or let's talk about Royal Enfield. All these companies are trying to give you a great design that gives you a product a competitive advantage, and many attributes which also gives you, like you have, by going for Nivea whitening cream, because that particular attribute in that Nivea cream is really build a competitive advantage for other competitors competing products. Next one is about service differentiation. Next one is about delivery, installation, repair service, customer training service in terms of service differentiation. And of course, Amazon gives you delivery within 24 hours, and most of the products bought in Amazon are having an easy installation. And also, it also gives you a complete like a Dell or HP. And when you talk about the washing machine category, IFB or LG, they're given an excellent after-sales service, repair service. And also we got customer training services, or a lot of financial institutions are giving customer training services for their investment portfolio, all that. Next one is about the image differentiation. We have a lot of symbols, atmosphere, events. When you look at the image of Apple, immediately you think about innovation. So that gives you a competitive advantage. And the symbol, RD symbol, it also gives talk about the performance and quality. So that gives you an image differentiation. And next one is, let's talk about personal differentiation. The personal makes a big difference, because the people As I told already that Singapore Airlines, the air hostess give an excellent service. And IBM personnel or Microsoft personnel or the employees of HSBC Bank, all these banks are trying to give a competitive advantage by using their employees, and the employees witness competitive services towards the customers. So training better people than competitors do. Okay, next, moving on to the next one, choosing the right competitive advantage. How many differences to promote? So you cannot have a clutter. You need to consolidate the selected benefits, and you need to develop a unique selling proposition. So that should be unique, where a competitor does not possess that, and you are trying to deliver that. We call it as unique selling proposition, and you need a benefit has been collaborated together and try to deliver towards the customer. As I told you, Head and Shoulders, this shampoo is all about killing the dandruffs. So that part is very important. How do you build on unique selling proposition, and which differences to promote? The criteria include whether it is an important feature, or how it is going to give you a distinctive advantage, how it is superior, whether it is able to easily communicable to the consumers of that particular segment, and how it is preemptive, and how it is affordable and profitable. All these criteria has to be considered while you try to differentiate the benefits of that particular product or services. Choosing the right competitive advantage, we have seen all these components here. So these are the criteria for determining which differences to promote. So moving on to the last slide of our session, that choosing a positioning strategy. So what is value proposition represent the full positioning of the brand? So positioning strategy, as I already mentioned, that occupying a position in the minds of the customer. As I was quoting many examples on this. When I think about budgeted airlines, immediately my mind recollect the brand called Air Asia. When I think about my sensitive teeth, immediately I talk about Sensodyne toothpaste. When I think about some cream for my cold, immediately I think about a Vicks Vapor Up. So that's the way. When I pick up some headache, immediately I think about a brand name called Amortanjan. So like that, when I think about buying online, immediately my mind go to either Amazon or Flipkart. So you need to be very, very careful in articulating the value proposition by carefully analyzing the consumer perception, and you need to deliver the required marketing mix towards that particular chosen segment. The possible value propositions are, there are different proportions available. One is more for more, that you need to pay more for it, and more for the same, that gives you a competitive advantage. More for less, the same for less, and less for much less. So these are the concepts you need to really understand. So where you strike your balance, whether to strike a balance on more for more, or more for the same, or more for less, the same for less, less for much less. Clear? So I can quote an example of Walmart. Walmart stands like more for less, right? So Walmart is considered to be everyday low pricing. So you get more products for less price. So they enjoy the economies of scale. They procure raw material directly from the suppliers, I mean the producers, and they cut down the intermediary cost, and they pass on those intermediary costs on the heads of the customer. That's the way they position themselves. So I think with this, informations, whatever I given in this session, hope you all understand and appreciate the concept of segmentation, targeting, and positioning. And in other oncoming sessions, we will go in more details, in much more examples we will be discussing, so that we will get fundamental clarity on the course called Marketing Management. Thank you so much.